would be great to get a sense from them on the opportunities that lie ahead for US businesses that wish to operate in India or incrementally invest further in India, but also to talk about Indian businesses that are looking at opportunities here in the US. So once again, congratulations and thank you very much. Mr. Bhartia, let me start by talking to you about the India aspiration for US brands, US businesses who are looking at the consumption story, and you are betting on the consumption story as well across different sectors, from pizzas to donuts at this point in time. Almost 2,000 stores now for Domino's pizzas in India. How confident do you feel about consumption holding up, and what is the message here to US companies who are looking at the Indian consumption story?
So if I look at our own experience in the last 25 years, you know, when we first looked at bringing a US brand to India, one thing that we learned, that in US, the brands which were very large, like McDonald's or Domino's or anyone, they have done well because they provide great product at good value. You know, if you go to any of these brands, you'll find a CEO standing in queue, buying a hamburger or a pizza, and even a FedEx driver is in the same queue. So it's great product, great value for everyone. And that was what we thought we should bring it to India. And so one reason of success is continuously bring value to the customer. If I look at our own journey in the last 10 years, I don't think we have actually increased prices, but what we have done is continuously leverage the scale to bring value. If you can give value, you will build scale. And today, it is the second largest in the world. When we started 25 years back, it looked quite difficult. But at the pace at that we are growing, I think the market is probably maybe 7,000 stores. And in the next 20 years, it will be more than 10,000 stores. So it will be as big as the US market, because the Indian consumption story is not in main cities only, in main large urban centers that we visit, but is now starting to see in district headquarters, in small towns. Consumers want great product, hygienic product, delivered at great value. So I think the scope is unlimited for US brands who are trying to enter India. But one thing to be kept in mind, that Indian consumers demand great product at a great value.
Great product at a great value. I want to talk about the scale ambition. And we just had the Ambassador Taranjit Sandhu say that be uber ambitious. You talked about the headroom for growth. What could the aspiration be? What could the ambition be? And are you also likely to consider bringing other brands into India to service the consumption story?
Of course. We have recently brought in Popeyes, which is a fried chicken brand. India is a large consumer of this protein, as you know, because chicken is the most reasonably priced protein that you can. And India is, though people believe it's a vegetarian market, but India, majority is a non-vegetarian market. Only in some parts of India, people do eat a lot of vegetarian food. So we believe this will be equally big and equally successful. We have brought in brands like Dunkin', which is really a coffee-first brand. We have also created some brands in India because after Indian food, we have Chinese and then we have pizzas. So you can imagine, and you know, pizza, people believe it's an Italian product, but actually Americans are much bigger, and we believe that it is an American pizza which is more dominant.
And soon could be Indian. If that things pan out, it's likely to be larger than the US market.
Absolutely, we hope so. We hope so. As Ambassador Sandhu said, we have to think big, and I think our ambitions are that it should be the largest market in the world. I think we have 1.4 billion population, aspirational. And I want to bring in another aspect about food, that while we brought a great product, you know, which was guaranteed to be delivered in 30 minutes, or we said you can have it for free. But what we also did, that we brought in a lot of technologies which relates to supply chain, cold chain management. So while you see a front-end investment of stores, but there was a huge amount of work done at the back end, building commissaries, food processing factories, building a resilient supply chain. And because food, as you know, goes bad if you don't manage it properly. So I think there was a lot of learning from these large American companies how to manage a large-scale supply chain for food. We built in vendors. Today we are the biggest buyers of cheese. When we started, we brought in technical experts to teach cheese manufacturers how to scale up. And today they are huge. They are not only supplying to us, but supplying to other brands and also exporting globally. So we feel very satisfied that we not only built a business where we employ today 50,000 people, but we also built a large set of vendors today who are not only supplying to us, but to the other companies.
So you've helped create an ecosystem around food and food management. Mr. Shyam Bhartia, let's talk about the US ambition and the US aspiration for you, because I don't know how many people in the room know here, but you have a sizable presence here across the pharmaceutical space. You are invested in the life sciences space as well. In fact, you're the #2 manufacturer here in the US in the radio pharma business as well. What is the level of aspiration, ambition that you have for the US? What excites you about this market in specific, and what have been the key learnings in being able to operate here, and how do you proceed further?
I think we came to US about 15 years back, and when we came to US, as I said before that, we were coming to US, we saw the opportunities in the pharmaceutical sector. So we invested about $450 million in 2 large manufacturing facilities. One in Salisbury, other is in Spokane, two in Spokane. And we are present in nuclear medicine, we are present in generics, we are present in allergy therapy, we are present in sterile manufacturing. During COVID time, we manufactured a lot of COVID products. We supplied to, we helped the pharmaceutical industry for a lot of COVID products, including remdesivir, we manufactured for the first time in US. And we today are present in almost 20 states through our 46 radio pharmacies and serving about 1,700 hospitals. Our allergy therapy, we are serving almost 2,500 allergy practitioners. And we are also manufacturing one of the products, which is bee venom, which is, we are the only manufacturers in US, and through the distribution with allergy therapy, I think we saved many lives. We are saving many lives who are affected by bee allergy. And we are also present in our biotech venture. Through biotech venture in India, we are doing clinical trials on oncology and many other diseases, unmet diseases in US. Plus also we are, through our manufacturing in India, we are supply chain partners to many large US agrochemical companies, pharma companies, chemical companies, etc. So our presence in US, and we have committed to invest further about $320 million. So we are very happy with our investment. We are growing our investment, and we feel very proud to be here and participating in the pharmaceutical value chain.
You know, speaking of value chains and from food to pharmaceuticals, you've covered all those spaces. And we're here in the context of furthering and amplifying this partnership. I want to understand from you, Hari Bhartia, you know, whether it's defense, it's technology transfer, the expectation and the hope is that finally we will start to see the needle move on some of these issues. Where do you believe we should focus our attention? Where do you believe the partnership should deepen, you know, its priorities on both sides?
So one thing which I want to highlight is, you know, there's a lot of conversation around innovation. You know, US is the mecca for innovation. Whatever you say, but pharmaceutical industry, biotech, even technology. But I think India is catching up very fast. You know, you'll be amazed to know that today there are 5,000 biotech startups. India earlier, we were contract research companies. You know, we were doing contract research in India. Proprietary product development was limited 10 years back. But today, because you know, like you have clusters here for innovation ecosystem, similar clusters you're starting to see developing in India. And these startups are now, when you look at biotech, including digital, technology, artificial intelligence, because all these are being applied even in the biotech industry. So what you see is really proprietary products patented out of India. And venture capitals from US are now starting to invest. Now that is, in my view, the biggest way we could partner. Not really in just being a supplier, but creating intellectual property together. I think that's, in my view, big scope. You know, Jubilant today does early research for proprietary products in oncology in India, and now we are bringing it here in US to do the clinical part. And ultimately, this will go to a large pharma who would go and market it. So I think this kind of collaboration is new, is starting to happen, and I'm sure it's happening in biotech, it's going to happen in defense. There was a conversation about a lot of startups coming here and showcasing them in space and defense. And I see of course, in digital and tech, we are quite ahead. AI is starting to happen.
You know, we also heard here from both ambassadors suggesting that let's not be prisoners of the past, but let's talk about the future. And if there are any asks that need to be put on the table that both sides need to work on to ensure that we don't underperform our true potential, what would you like to put on the table, especially, you know, when we talk about regulatory challenges, regulatory complexities, and that is a big challenge, especially for pharma, life sciences, biotech, etc. On both sides, you know, one ask each.
So, on the pharma side, as we have discussed in the Indo-US CEOs Council, one of the things could be more collaboration on regulation. You know, Indian companies have set up huge capacities in India for supplying generics to US. Now, obviously, patient safety is topmost important. And now for that, compliance and quality is very critical. Now, I think it is important that the US FDA invests more on training people in India for building a resilient supply chain. Also, Indian companies get inspected from, you know, the Canadian authorities, European authorities, Japanese authorities. If there is a way to harmonize these kind of approvals, that if you are approved by a Japanese company or a Japanese government,
right,
or regulator, then that should apply for US also. So some level of harmonization, and this conversation is starting to happen. Now, if that happens, then all these capacities will get unlocked and more resilient supply chains can be built.
I think the need for standardization and harmonization of regulation and rules is not just limited to the pharmaceutical sector, but across that. But, you know, speaking of pharma, and we've got about a minute to go, and I'll get Mr. Bhartia to comment on that. I think every time you hear of a Form 483, which is what the US FDA issues, you can see panic across in the Indian pharmaceutical sector. But Shyam Bhartia, you know, outside of pharma, life sciences, biotech, the group also has interests in areas like aerospace, aviation, etc. And those are now booming opportunities with a lot of headroom for potential growth and, again, potential for partnership between both sides. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right. I think we started about...
if you can just hold up the mic, sir.
We started about 3 decades ago with Bell helicopters from US, collaborated and brought the Bell helicopters to India, and now Cessna aircrafts to India. So I think there is a great opportunity for both the countries to participate in the aviation industry. As I was recently told that there is going to be an aviation summit into India. A lot of aviation companies are coming to India and see the opportunity. And many Indian companies today are producing for US and for European aviation authorities. So I think US companies have a great opportunity to come to India and be partnered with these companies in India, invest in India, in the aviation sector. And I think there is likely to be a collaboration between GE engines to...
Well, the hope is that we'll hear something on that front, on the GEHAL front at the end of the Prime Minister's visit this time around. Before I let you go, what is the quirkiest pizza topping that has been invented in India?
It's called the Peppy Paneer. It's a paneer with red chilies. And I encourage all of you to try it. It's outstanding.
All right. So get your size of the Peppy Paneer. Shyam and Hari Bhartia, congratulations once again. And thank you very, very much for joining us here this morning. Thank you.